Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork, Noodles for another breakdown of Kaiju number 8. This is episode number 2. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are looking after yourselves. Still really wet in the UK. This is your weekly weather update. It's still wet. Yeah. Which is probably going to be the way it is for some time because that is just our normal. That's just the normal for the UK. It's just always wet. If I ever tell you it's not wet, that's when you're going to be surprised and scared. But welcome back to the channel. I'm Becca. I hope you guys are having a great week. This week's episode was fantastic. I'm also quite sad because a friend of mine dropped the show after episode 1. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine. I really enjoyed it. Maybe I'm in the minority with this one, but I really enjoyed it. So we're going to continue breaking it down. I really enjoyed this week's episode too. I can see why the OP might split the room though, so we'll go into that in a moment. But make sure you guys are subscribed. We've got 3 videos going on each week on this show. We've also got the midway coming up in 3 weeks' time. Had to do a count then. And of course, you've got a video going up for Iona very soon because I've got something important I need to announce for life updates. So not so much the channel update, just a life update that I need to get out of my chest. I've been meaning to edit it and perhaps I'll do that tomorrow or Monday, one of those 2 days. So let's get straight to the episode, my friends. We're going to join Kafka and crew again. The OP, let's just talk about the OP immediately off the bat, saying it's 3D. And I know some people do not like 3D. So I know immediately off the bat, people aren't going to like it. I do think the song is really cool. And I absolutely love the title with the blue. So I like the font with the blue colour because I think blue is really cool. It's like a tealy type colour and it seems to be the colour of Kafka's powers when he is a kaiju. So I really like that. But I can understand why some people may or may not like the credits, the actual opening sequences themselves. But if you want to find out what I really think, you're going to have to tune in for the midway review because that's when I'm going to crown my top 3 OP ED. I will say with the ED on this one, I love it. I absolutely love the ED. So the ED for me is very strong. So I'll have to see if it can go all the way when it comes to the ED top 3s. The smiling kaiju is just nightmare fuel. So Kafka, please don't smile. I absolutely love the comic kind of slapstick territory we enter this week. There's a lot of it. I can probably see why some people don't like the comic aspects, but I think with a show like this, I can see it working, especially with that 80s vibe. And it really does got that 80s monster vibe and everything's a little bit goofy. And even the original Godzilla, I'm sorry for the people who like Godzilla, it is a toy. It's like a little plastic toy. And I've seen some of those really early effects, but that's the thing. It's what makes a good kaiju movie, I think. I think it's got to have that kind of aspect of it being the 90s or the 80s or whatever period it is, and I kind of prefer those originals compared to the new versions of like Godzilla looking beautiful and swishy and all of the animated glory of nowadays. But I could be completely alone on that. Him this week actually developing his skills, so we start to work at what powers he's got because obviously he's taken on this new form. It's not going to be the same. He can actually hear when a nearby kaiju is about to come out of the ground and what type of kaiju it actually is, which I think is really cool. Obviously, he's got really powerful strength, which is really cool. Our boy actually ends up having the knowledge and the skills. Can I say that way? The nips, all about the nips. The bits with the nips. That sounds even wrong. It sounds so wrong. That got me because I just wasn't expecting that kind of humour. So when he's running along and then he suddenly needs to pee, you're like, actually, I don't know how these monsters pee. I don't think we've ever seen Mothra pee, maybe. Oh God, where am I going? Where's this show going? It was something I really wasn't expecting, so I really got behind it. I like the moments when it goes into a chibi type form. I also think our boy might want to avoid taking commission for doing children's parties because the guy can't smile. That smile is absolutely terrible. But I did feel really, really sad for him when it does suddenly go back to being serious again, when he realizes that I've just ignited my dream of joining the squad and now I am the thing that everybody is hunting. Now I'm the thing that we all vow to destroy. And I think in this first little chunk, even with the little girl, and she recognizes him as a kaiju and freaks out, and then as she notices that he saves her mum and as he's walking away, she thanks him. When she's thanking him, he reflects on his childhood when he promised that he'd look after her, and you've got this nice warm core because now she's grown up to be quite the solo awesome woman who can stand on her own, don't need no man, but she doesn't look happy for it. And in any of those scenes she does look quite sad because she's standing on her own. Even in the OP you see him looking at them together And that's what you also get with him in a little flashback where he's remembering his goals when she thanks him. And it does go to the sequence of them standing together, which makes you wonder if they're actually gonna be able to do that, and is he gonna be able to hold the form of being a human? Because this week it seems to be a bit of a yes no. He seems to be able to revert back to his human form, but it also seems that the slightest laugh or sneeze is gonna have him growing some extra like teeth on his face, which is interesting. Obviously he hasn't had these powers very long, so I'm sure he'll get used to it, but it is going to be an interesting game to see how long he can go with hiding these abilities. We do seem to get a bit of a 3 months later scenario where things jump ahead. I love the Kaiju number 8 roll credits because I was wondering where they came from, because we hadn't really heard them numbering any of them. But Kaiju number 8 is actually one that is a police composite. It's been made up of all these people who've witnessed it. You can see it kind of looks like him, it also kind of doesn't, but it's nice to see where the name comes from. I like it. 3 months later, you can see the old dude who literally has like a heart attack when he sees him at Kafka. He's actually now appearing on talk shows. He's trying to spread his word. Good on him. He's making some money. Not everybody has a story to tell. And this old guy was in the right place at the right time to see a monster literally staring him in the face, trying to smile and freak him out. I love it. And I will say I love the animation. Whoever's animating on the glass effects when he broke the wall because he realized he was really strong. I also love him just giggling inside like with childhood glee, as not realizing how strong he actually is was really nice. But I like whoever is animating that damage. That damage looks absolutely gorgeous. The destruction looks really, really nice. So breaking of glass gets my thumbs up. Ichigawa coming in saying that he's passed into the second round, same with Kafka. Kafka, you're like, oh wow, this is amazing for you, but then he's like, actually it's always the second round I fail at. So there must be a written test, and he's very good at the written test, but it comes to the practical, he's not so good. I was gonna make a joke about guessing who the main characters were in this next sequence, but it's very, very obvious to the people who have got really cool hair. ED does spoil with one of the characters you see pulling up in the car park, and I'm kind of glad it's him because actually I think he's kind of cool, so I can't wait to meet the guy. But you do see him chilling out in the ED with Kafka, so you know it's going to be him at some point. He has the ability to revert back. This is 3 months later, obviously sat on the car, and I like the moment where he's actually pretty chill, and you can see that he's still happy. He doesn't seem to be upset by the changes, and I'm glad that it's not ruined his mood or anything. Sadly, Kaiju number 8 has proclaimed that I am old. Kaiju number 8 didn't say I was old. This girl did. This girl literally has called me old, and it hurts. I don't know how old you are, darling, but trust me, I'm not old. I'm not letting it get to me, okay? This anime wants to make me feel bad because I'm literally the same age as Kafka. It's fine. It's okay. The guy isn't old, you know? Everybody who's rolling up to this trial, they all have powers and they all have the heart. They all want to do the same thing. It doesn't matter about how old you are. As long as you can hold yourself up and you can smash a wall, that is all that counts. But we do see that she's got some pretty nifty powers. Maybe his super strength isn't actually going to stand out all that much, because I was worrying that his powers would stand out, but he could just pass it off as just, oh, I just smell like a kaiju, but I have these powers and it's okay, I've got super strength. I'm very curious to see what the next test is going to be comprised of. It does remind me a bit of My Hero Academia, the trials where they're trying to get into UH in the first place. They're having all these trials to pass into the to get into school. So it feels a bit like that. Obviously, the guy is going to get in because the ED says so. I'm very excited to see what they're going to go through, and seeing the girl as well with the powers wearing that super suit. Does that count? Is it the suit that's actually doing the powers, or have you got powers that the suit is enhancing? I'd like to know what way around that is. But very excited to see how it's going to go for the next few episodes. I love the relationship between Ichigawa and our boy Kafka. I think those two really are really cool. Hoping that both of them get to make it through. The ED, I absolutely love the pieces. I think this song is just absolutely amazing. I really hope that they're all going to get to be on a squad. But it is making me wonder, how long is he going to be able to hide the form? How long is it going to take for him to need to save somebody and revert back to his monster form, and then everyone's going to try and shoot him in the head? Because even Ichigawa's like, oh, if you transform right now, you're going to be like dead in 2 seconds. It's just that quick, because nobody's going to even give you a chance to talk. Obviously, the moment when the kid is telling the girl, are you going to destroy even the good ones? It does take her back. So I mean, I'm wondering if when it happens, she might suddenly realise that it's not as black and white, and maybe she will hold a punch before hitting him and then realise that actually it's him. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the two finally reunite. I've got questions pouring out my ears. The show, for me, I'm really enjoying it. So I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm really enjoying it. I like the style. I like the comedy. I like the characters. I like the art. The animation is gorgeous. The flipping between comic and serious also really works because it hits better. It hits more when a character who's always happy suddenly is sad. I am really liking the highs and the lows on the episode as it is. So I'm really excited to see where the show is going, and I can't wait for next week's episode. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Do you like the ED? Do you like the OP? I really like the ED. That's my favourite. So let me know which one you prefer. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.